Jennifer Stay from Coloring Pages Bliss, and I'm here today to share with you a new coloring tool that's going to help you with your gel pen coloring. Now, you guys know me, I love my gel pens, and I do a lot of coloring, and I've done some tutorials already here on my YouTube channel all about how to color with these wonderful tools. Now, in the description on this video, there are some links all set up and ready for you to lead you right to my tutorials and help you get started if you'd like to learn more about the things that I've taught already about blending and just general coloring on storing and all kinds of things all about gel pens. Now today I have a new tool to help us with our coloring. I've had a problem with my gel pen blending, and let me show it to you so you can see what the issue is. Now, when you look close up at this is a coloring page out of my coloring book where I do a lot of experimenting and testing of different techniques. And if you look close up here, this is some gel pen blending I've been doing. And here you can see where the gel pen blending, it looks really pretty, but it also looks really scratchy. And this happens when the two colors come together and the tip of the pen is used to blend those colors together, and sometimes it'll actually scratch the paper and it'll kind of dig up the paper and you get this really scratchy texture. And when you drag your hand across it, it even feels really rough along those edges. And I really don't like that look. The color itself is pretty, but the scratchy look I haven't been a fan of. And so I've been doing a lot of pondering, trying to figure out how to fix this issue. And I have finally solved this problem, and I'm so excited to share this with you and help you with your coloring and blending as well. So let me show you the tool that I discovered that solves all of these problems. And you're going to be so excited too, I believe, because it is an inexpensive and fantastic tool that you might have already in your house right now. And here it is. It's a spatula, and it's a silicone spatula to be specific, and it does a fantastic job with blending and smearing the gel pen. I can't wait to show you. Now, I didn't have a really nice silicone spatula in my kitchen. All the silicone spatulas I have are sort of chewed up and messed up along the edges, and I wanted one that was very smooth so that I could get a very nice clean smear. So I headed straight to my dollar store. Where else are you gonna go, right? Actually, the first place I headed was online because I knew that there would be some art supplies that would be made out of silicone. I've seen them in my art store before, and I wanted to see what was available. I found all kinds of silicone paintbrushes and different kinds of tools, and they were very expensive, and I didn't want to invest that kind of money when I knew that there were silicone spatulas out there that I could buy. And so that's when I took my son and we went straight to the dollar store, and sure enough, there on the wall was this wonderful spatula by Crocker, and it's fantastic. It was in this little package right like this and hanging on the wall. And the thing I love about this is that the ends pop off just like this. It's a little stiff, but that's okay. But the two ends pop off. So I can take one of these and tuck them into a pencil case and take it with me, and it fits right in my hand. In fact, you can also take it and tuck it on the end of a pen if you want to and use it that way too. So it's fantastic, and you get two tools for the price of $1. So this is a fantastic deal. I'm sure most dollar stores will have some type of silicone spatula, or you can probably find one in your kitchen right now, and you want to look and make sure you find a spatula that says silicone on it. And there's something to do with the silicone that makes it so that the gel doesn't stick to it at all, and it will help that smear happen so easily. So let me demonstrate this to you right now. As you know, I usually use my finger to do the smear, and it works great, but this is almost like magic. Okay, I've zoomed in and we're going to start out by demonstrating the silicone spatula technique with the Jelly Roll metallic Sakura pen. And the reason I picked this one is because you want to use a pen that has a good juicy ink and has a long drying time. And you can see here that I get a pretty good smear using my hand, and of course I get a pretty inky finger doing this, but you know me, I don't care about getting messy. But what is sad is that we're getting a lot of ink here instead of having the ink here on the paper. And so one of the good things about this technique is that we're going to end up with all of the ink on the paper and very little of the ink anywhere else. And so that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to clean off the spatula from other uses. I haven't cleaned this in a long time. I want you to see how a small amount of the ink ends up on the spatula. Okay, so there our spatula is really clean. And now what we're going to do is lay down some of this ink, and I usually go back over it a couple times really lightly so that it's really good and juicy. And then when you smear it, you get a really good smear. Look at that, almost twice as long of being able to pull that ink across the page. So that's about the same amount of ink. I tried my best to be equal there, but we get twice the coverage on that. So that's really impressive. And let's check out the spatula is still almost clean. And so all that ink, instead of having some of it on my fingers, is right there on our coloring page where we want it to be. Let's try another color and see if we can get the same results with a different color. Here is my metallic, kind of a mulberry color here. I'm not sure which color it is. And we're going to do the same thing. Start by laying down a couple layers and test it out with my finger. Didn't get very good results there. I'm going to do it one more time with my finger so we're fair, because I think what's happened here is the tip is a little bit clogged. So let's do it fair here. Okay, that's better. Now we will do the same thing with the spatula. Now you do have to move kind of quick. Oh, we're getting clogged again. This is that pen that got broken during shipping. Okay, so you have to move kind of quick to the spatula so you get the best smear possible. Look at that. Again, almost double the length in the smear we're getting out of it. Very impressive. Let's do one more. This time we're going to move to, let's do the purple. This is from their Stardust line, Jelly Roll Stardust line. So this is a sparkly one, not a metallic. We'll see what kind of results we get here. Again, lay down just a tiny bit and then go back and forth really light, so you're laying down a lot of ink. And that's what we get with the smear using our finger. And now let's see what we're going to get using the spatula. Again, this is a silicone spatula, and the silicone really works well. Look at that, to smear it out, and it kind of repels the ink and keeps it on the paper instead of on me or on the spatula. So the idea for this coloring page is that I'd like to use the gel pens to create sort of a mottled effect so that the leaf looks like it has changed into beautiful autumn colors. I'm going to use the silicone spatula tool to help meld the colors together and give it a beautiful smooth blended look rather than that scratchy, hard to blend look that I was getting before. Now over here you can see what we're working towards. Look how beautiful this is. All the colors have been mixed together, and I've used these beautiful pens by GelWriter here. I picked out a bunch of autumn tones. I started with the light, medium, and dark, and then added a few extras to give some depth to the color palette, and they all work together really pretty. And I kind of stayed in each section, as you're going to see as I demonstrate it, and then I ended by adding a metallic gold around the border of the leaf. And so that's kind of the goal of what we're going to do here. I started, of course, with my secret technique of using a highlighter. This is a broad tip highlighter, and so it goes across the page really quick and makes that first base layer step really easy and fast. So it's really an easy thing to do to add a lot of depth. It's going to make that leaf almost glow, and that's why I use it. And then I'm going to go ahead and dive in and demonstrate how amazing the silicone spatula can make these colors smear and blend together. So really what I did is I just kind of went for it. At first I started by using the darks down here in the center and blending outward, and then I decided to just go for it, because when you look at fall leaves, the colors are just everywhere across that leaf, and you don't have to be very particular. So it turned out really just a fun, relax, and just enjoy the way the colors move and smeared across the page. The only thing I really did was sort of tried to stay inside each triangular area, and that kind of gave me a guide and a zone to work in, and that was helpful, especially since the gel dries so quickly, and so you do want to work in small areas. That will help with your blending so that you don't lay down too much ink and then you find yourself in a bit of a problem because you have laid it down and then it's dried and you weren't able to blend the way you wanted to. So you can see sometimes I'm smearing and sometimes I'm doing sort of a stirring, blending type action. As you work with the gel and the spatula, you'll discover what works best for you. And then of course I leave the caps off as I'm working, and I just kind of keep all the pens that are in the area handy and ready to go, and I keep the spatula in my hand almost constantly. So you end up having usually a couple tools in your hand at once, and so it's a bit of a learning curve to figure out how it works best for you. And I think that's why I like this tiny little end of the spatula better than the larger one, because it fits so nice and neat inside my hand when I have more than one pen I'm working with. So here I've done just a straight up light to dark, well, dark to light blend, and you can see how easily that worked using the spatula, and it's so smooth. If you put your hand over it, there's no scratchy lines, and it just looks lovely. And so now we're going to go for the mottled effect that I was doing over here on these other two leaves and show you how I was doing that. And whoops, throwing my pens everywhere. So the way I did that was more just kind of went for it. And the fun thing about doing it this way too is that you don't have to worry about the colors getting on the edge of your spatula and contaminating the next color, because it's sort of what you want to have happen with this mottled autumn leaf look. Okay, so now that we've got the leaf all filled in, and I can look back and kind of make sure that there isn't any areas that I feel like are out of proportion. Of course, we're looking for a really random look, but here in this area I feel like there's way more yellow than anywhere else, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of a different color and smear it out a bit to kind of give it a little bit more of a balanced look. And that looks better already. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the caps on, and we're going to actually add a tiny bit of green into this leaf. If you look at autumn leaves, they all have a touch of green still in them usually. So this will make it have just a bit more dimension and look even more realistic. So we're going to get these caps on real quick. Make sure we get the click on each one to preserve the life of our pens. Okay, and then we have our spatula ready, and I just kind of go in and give a random spot of the green and smear it in. Maybe I'll come up in this yellow area and add the green. Not a whole lot of green. I guess I could do anything I want here, of course, but I'm trying to match what I did on the other leaves, which what I did was not a whole lot of green. There, that looks good. And of course, if you feel like you did a spot with too much green, you could add on top and layer it a little bit. And it'll help a little bit tone it down. Just like that if you want to. And then the final step, which I leave to the end, is to fill in this border with the gold, and it will sort of clean up your edges and hide any spots where you went out of the lines as you went. Okay, so that is how I color an autumn leaf using gel pens and my new tool and sort of a smear modeled technique. So I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this, and then I'll show you the end result. I'll also put links to all these awesome tools in the description of my video, and there will be a link to this coloring page also in the video, so you can check that out. Make sure you like this video for me and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a beautiful, colorful, blissful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.